We are live. Gonna wait a few minutes. People are joining. Happy Monday. Welcome to Lunch and Learn episode 8. I'm so excited. 8 already. We are going to be talking today 5 more traits of success. So last Friday, or last episode I should say, for those of you who are listening in the future, we talked about the first 5 traits. And let me review those. We talked about dreaming big dreams. We talked about doing what you love to do. We talked about committing to excellence, developing your unique talents and abilities, and a clear sense of direction. So today we're going to go through 5 more traits of things that you can do, skills that you can learn, mindset you can have to help to take your business to the next level, no matter what business you're in. Even if you're just an entrepreneur, you could be a realtor, you could be a small business owner, a franchise owner. Those principles of success are the same. So you don't have to be in network marketing to be able to utilize this stuff. So today we are going to talk about 5 more. And let me just get this highlighted. Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh, goodness. Okay, so let's get into it. Hello. Oh, thank you. I actually did make it for you guys today. I like this. I feel like I have somewhere to go every day, and I normally don't wear makeup, so this is a whole new world for me, so thank you. All right, number 6. So again, if you haven't seen episode 7, please go back and review it. It's on YouTube. And you guys should all subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss another episode, that you can watch it and you'll get alerted when it is. All right, number 6, refuse to consider the possibility of failure, right? Close your mind to it. One of the things that I did when I started in network marketing is I was dabbling in it for about 90 days. And I've told you guys my story a lot of times. And I just kind of floated. And then I made a decision. Like it was a line in the sand kind of decision. It was a decision that was, this is gonna happen, right? Because these people are having all this success. I want my life to be different. I want to be a mom. I want to stay at home with my kids more. I want to earn the kind of income that I'm earning, but with more flexibility. This is happening. So I always said quitting and failing are not an option. Well, I know now that quitting and failing are kind of the same thing, because really the only way you fail completely is if you quit, right? So quitting and failing are, to me, the same thing, because you can fail and correct yourself over and over and over and over and over and over again, and not fail, right? Because think about the Thomas Edison, for example, with all the 10,000 failures with the light bulb. He never actually truly failed, right? You only fail if you quit. So quitting is the only way to failure. So 9 out of 10 things we try don't work out. The fear of failure will hold you back, but not failure. Failure is not going to hold you back. The fear of failure holds you back, right? Failure gets you closer to your goals. Failure is what is giving you feedback. Failure is what is giving you lessons, right? It's teaching you either the ways that work or teaching the way that don't work. But the fear of failure is actually what actually holds you back, not failure itself, right? So seek the lesson in every failure. What can I learn from this today? If you look for the lesson, you will always find it. So, double your rate of failure. You're going to escalate the feedback. You're going to escalate your experience. You're going to put yourself in more situations, but just don't ever consider the possibility that you're going to quit, right? So just look for ways you can fail. Look for ways you can adjust. Look for ways that you can put yourself in situations that you will learn, you will grow, you will stretch, but don't consider the possibility they're going to quit. Now, should you change vehicles? Yes, right? Changing vehicles, right? The average American, I think, has 8 different jobs in their career on average, right? Even people who go on to be a CEO of their company or president of their company or whatever, changing vehicles, changing companies is sometimes necessary, right? If you're in corporate America and you want to be CEO of the company, and the CEO of your company right now is 40, it doesn't look like he's ever gonna, stop being a CEO of your company, then you might want to, take a different route and go to a different company, right? If you're in a town that's saturated with, real estate agents, maybe you go work in a different town, although I think that anyone can still be at the top of their game. But anyway, okay. Number 8, dedicate to yourself to a life of learning. And personal development, honestly, guys, I'm going to probably say this in every single episode I ever do, because I believe is what made the biggest difference for me. But personal development is maximized by experience. So the highest form of influence over somebody is actual moral authority. So you can talk, theory all day long. You could read books. Like, this is still one of my favorite how-to books for network marketing. I think it's brilliant. But Eric Worre didn't sit there and just study the industry from afar. Eric Worre has been in the industry for over 20 or 25 years, has built companies, has built teams, has, scraped his knees, right? I don't come to you with theory. I don't come to you because I've read a bunch of books. I come to you with 9.5 years experience, but learning while you're doing and upping your game and upping your, value and upping your mindset. If you do that with action, it's going to make you invincible. You will be successful, right? They say that the likelihood of you being a millionaire is like, it skyrockets if you're in the industry for 10 years. Like, you can't be in and out of the industry. You can't dabble in it. You can't just, think that your hard work is going to get you to the top. It's not. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to increase your skill. You're going to have to read. We just went through a whole thing with John Maxwell. The 15 Intentional Laws of Growth is one of the best books. I think I actually have that one right here. This is it's backwards, but John Maxwell, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, is one of my favorite books. In fact, stay tuned for an episode coming up. We will be teaching out of that. But every chance you get, every day, one of the best things you can do, the 2 things you should be doing every day, obviously, is taking action in your company and growing yourself. You cannot, there's a law of the lid that says eventually you will only go as far as your mindset will allow. So if you don't have a millionaire mindset, you're not going to be a millionaire. If you don't even have the mindset of a 6-figure earner because you've never been there, like, hard work can get you to a certain point, but it won't stay, right? You can get to a lot of places with hard work and activity, but actually to keep it is going to require intentional growth. So every single day, 30, 60 minutes. And if you're not continually learning, especially, now in these days, you're going to be obsolete, right? I hear a lot of people saying, well, I don't really want to do social media. Well, you probably should, because there are billions of people that are doing social media. So that's another way. Now, should you do all social media? Absolutely not, because there are a lot of ways that you can build your business, but there's one net, right? You want multiple nets, but just commit to yourself that you are going to dedicate yourself to continually growing. And the more you do, your self-esteem will go up and your goals will get bigger. See, the reason your goals aren't big right now is because you don't believe you can achieve them, right? So as you grow and you grow your mindset and you grow into somebody that thinks differently, which is going to require that, because if you had everything that you needed to go where you want to go, you would already be there. So you're going to have to grow into the person who is the next level, right? Every single point of your life, every time you get to a certain, here and you want to go here, you're going to have to grow and get better or you won't go there. To go where you've never gone before, you're going to have to think like you've never thought before. You're going to have to do things you've never done before. You're going to have to take more action. You're going to have to fill your brain. You're going to have to up-level your mindset. You're going to have to up-level your skill set. You're going to have to up-level your leadership, especially in network marketing. That's important. So continue to a life of learning, right? And learning is doing, and learning is reading, and learning is being around other people. Learning is mirroring people who are successful, but just constantly be learning. This should never be to a point where, like, I got it all. If you ever think you got it all, you're going to be passed by the person who's still growing. Number 6, 7, 8. Number 8, develop a workaholic mentality. Now, I don't mean like you should work all the time and have no social life and no time with your family and that you're unreasonable. There's difference between making a sacrifice and making smart decisions, right? Making a sacrifice is maybe I don't watch the 3-hour baseball game today, right? Maybe I just don't, come on, for baseball fans, how many games do you really need to watch? There's like 80 games a year. Do you really need to watch every single one of them? No. Think 80 times 3 hours, that's like 240 hours. That's 10 days. It's your life you're giving up to watch somebody else who's fulfilling their dream, by the way. Workaholic just means that every every moment that you do have to dedicate to your business, right? So you have your life, and we talked about it in one of the earlier episodes about how you can truly build a business in 8 to 10 hours. You've got your sleep, you've got your work, you've got your responsibilities, you got your children, your church, your family, all your priorities. Those are the things that are important. But what else is what's not important? Somebody who wants to be a millionaire, I guarantee that Bill Gates or Steve Jobs on their rise to billions and billions of dollars weren't sitting there watching 20 hours of TV a week. They had goals. They were workaholics in their field. So it means that every single moment that's not something that you have to do, that's imperative, that you're thinking about your business, right? You're going to have to be going in early. You're going to have to stay later. You're going to have to make more calls. You're going to have to, and network marketing specifically, you're going to have to grow your network beyond probably what it is today by continually asking people, who do you know who do you know who, right? You're going to have to make more calls than you think. You're going to have more in-person meetings than you think. You're going to have to go to more trainings than you think. Everything that you think you're going to have to do, you're going to have to do more of. But work when you're working. A recent study showed that a salesperson, just in general, like say you're in real estate or car sales or copier sales, doesn't matter, whatever, retail sales, they say that if they study people who are in sales, they only actually spend 90 minutes a day working, doing things that are actually selling. So for example, in network marketing, there's only 2 things that earn you income. It's when somebody buys your product as a customer, product or service, and then when somebody signs up or becomes a distributor and buys your product as a distributor. So really there's only one thing. When people buy product or your service and they're customers, whether they're distributing it or not, that's what earns you money. Anything beyond that is a pyramid scheme, right? So you don't get paid to recruit, right? You get paid to sell product. Like if I sign someone up on my basic kit and they don't get product, I don't get commission. I only get commission if they buy product. Then I get commission on the product. So that's why we are a legitimate industry, is because we're only getting paid when product is sold. And so you're going to have to work while you're working. So as much as it's great, this is great to listen to, trainings and to read, and all this stuff is great, but this is not working. This is preparing you. Working is actually doing the activities. So what does that mean? In network marketing, that is doing a one-on-one, right? Scheduling an appointment, calling somebody, following up, sitting down, presenting your opportunity, presenting your products, presenting, your services. That is working. So how many hours a week do you spend actually working, right? How many hours a week are you in situations where people are making a decision whether to buy your product or service, right? So stop Candy Crush, stop surfing the internet, stop, researching how to build a brand, or, all that stuff's great. If you have spare time, for me, I am always consistently studying in my field and in the products that I, distribute, the field that I'm in, nutrition, and all the kind of product categories. I'm always getting more information on the internet. I'm always looking about, how can I be more expert in what I do? And you should, no matter what you do. Like if you're in makeup, you might want to know more about makeup. If you're in jewelry, you might want to know more about jewelry. But that's still I do that now because I am full-time in the industry. When I was, get started 9.5 years ago, and I was working 40 hours a week with 2 small kids, I had more time, was just doing it, just inviting people, taking a look, take a look, come to this meeting, listen to this call, watch this video, just getting people in front of the information. So when you're starting out, the most important thing you can do is just continually get people in front of the information. But, you know, here's the thing is a lot of people, you know, especially if you're really diligent with your time, they think they're working, right? Can you build this part-time? Absolutely. But when I say part-time, you know, 5 to 6 hours a week, I mean doing the activity that's actually going to move the needle on you and your team. So whether you're enrolling somebody or selling product directly, or you're helping somebody in your team, that's working. Everything else is just preparing, and it's all important, but it's definitely important for you to be working while you're working. Number 9, this is a good one. Did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4. I thought I had more. I have 5, but I thought there was more. Anyway, number 9 is be prepared to climb from peak to peak. So every business goes like this. Now, there are some, I believe, that have better retention because of what they offer. So the peaks might be a little bit smaller, but prepare that some days there's a, you know, like there's slow times, right? In network marketing, traditionally, August and December are slower. Now, I don't like to think that, because I think people are always ready to make a decision and always need great products and always want to, you know, start doing business no matter what month it is. So I refuse to believe that. And so I continually work in August and December. And in fact, I hit one of the biggest ranks of the top rank that was in my last company, which was top 9 in the company. I hit that in August. In August. I also hit one of the biggest ranks I ever hit in December. So again, that's all mindset. But sometimes you're going to have peaks, right? In real estate, we know that there's a couple months of the year when it's winter and everything is dry and everything is dead. It's not as attractive as right now. Like, oh, I would think that real estate would be the best in the fall. When I'm driving through the streets and the trees are orange and red and green, this stuff has curb appeal, right? I'm like, oh, realtors should be knocking out of the park right now. It's like, come look at this beautiful home on this beautiful tree-lined street, right? But you're always going to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, right? There is no, like, it's not the road to success is not like a straight line. I mean, there are detours and obstacles and things that you can't foresee. And sometimes you're going to have setbacks, and you have to be prepared for that. You just really do. You got to be mentally tough. You got to get creative, because here's what happens. You know, you want to be top in your company, just outlast people. Statistically, if you just outlast people, you will make it. Here's why, because okay, let's pretend that you're the only person in town there's 50 realtors, and slowly and surely all these realtors get caught with, you know, the down cycles or interest rates or, I don't know, economy going bad in your town. And slowly and surely every realtor quits, and you're the last one standing. When the market does turn around, guess who's getting all the business, right? So if you're in, I don't know, weight loss, and you're the only weight loss person anybody else knows, guess who's getting all the business, right? I mean, it's like, I always tell people, you can't expect to be selling your product or services 100% of the time to 100% of the people, right? But what happens is people get into business and they call their friends and family and they get a couple customers, they get a couple people to distribute, and then 6 months later, their friend's ready now, and they come back to you and say, okay, I'm ready to do the thing with you. And you're like, oh, I quit. What? Not everybody's going to be ready when you are. So sometimes you just have to, you know, just continue to be there, because everybody, first of all, is watching you, wanting you to quit. Don't quit for that reason alone. But, you know, keep climbing. As curvy as it is, keep climbing from peak to peak to peak. Now, there are definitely times where, I mean, I proudly, this is my 4th and hopefully, unless it closes the door, this is my 4th and final company. And I say that proudly because I have made great decisions. I've been in great companies. I've represented great products. Unfortunately, my first 2 companies are no longer in business, so leaving them was not really an option. It was a necessity. And if I hadn't made those decisions, I wouldn't have the story I have. I wouldn't have met the people I have. But there's a time in business where you do have to make a decision to move on and maybe to change vehicles. There is time, and it's got to be for everyone. I always tell people, just make the decision for you. You're the one that has to get up every day and do what you do. If you love it, you're going to be good at it. You're going to be motivated. You're going to attract people. You're going to have passion. You're going to have vision. It's going to keep you awake at night. You're going to be sure. You're going to be confident. If you're unhappy in any way with what you're doing and you feel like stuck because you care what people think, or you care about the ridicule, or you care about rejection, or you care about, gossip, that's the worst reason to stay in anything, right? If you're terrible in real estate, don't do real estate. If it makes you uncomfortable and anxious and miserable every time you go knocking on a door or go to a networking event, then you're not doing what you love, right? You just gotta follow your own heart. You gotta follow your own dreams, right? So ride the peaks. Know that every business is going to have ups and downs. You're going to have ups and downs in your life, but you got to just keep going. The road to success is uphill all the way. There is no coasting. There is no relaxing. You can't build it. And so many people are like, oh, well, I built it. I ran hard for 6 months and all these people were signing up. And then I stopped. And guess what? They stopped too. Follow the leader. If you ever guys go, like, pretend you're in a conga line, right? And you guys are all trucking along. Well, guess what? When you stop, boop, 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 everybody stops behind you. I'll tell you right now, nobody on your team wants to sit and work with somebody who's not working. They don't want to make you money anymore. So if you want to have great success in your team, in your company, you got to work harder than anybody on your team, or you have to have the mentality that you are working harder than anyone on your team. My team never sees me not working. My team knows, because I brag on myself, man, in our team groups, I just signed up another customer. I just signed up another customer. I just sold 6 units of our product. I just sold another 2. I just signed up another distributor. Why? Not bragging. I'm leading by example. People want to follow me because I'm still doing what I'm teaching them to do. That's it. You can't ever stop doing what got you to where you are, or you will not be there for long. You have got to continually work. You've got to continually, the highest form of influence is moral authority. Walking your walk, and your walk talks so much louder than your talk. You can talk all day long, but ain't nobody listening unless you're walking too. Because when they see you talk and you're not walking, I don't care how clever your videos are, or your posts are, or your inspirational stuff is, if you are not doing the thing, you are not getting anybody to believe you have influence. They're not following you. People don't follow people who are sitting there teaching. It would be like trying to take surfing lessons from somebody who's never surfed. That would be a really bad idea. So when you work with somebody who's successful and who has done it, who's walked the walk, who's got the experience, who's done it over and over and over again, right? I'm not a one-hit wonder. I've been at the top of 4 companies, right? Because I have a work ethic and I follow a system and I see things through. So that's why people want to work with me, because I know how to get to the top and I know how to teach them. You have to get to the top before you can teach someone how to get to the top. So if you're spending time teaching and you're not doing, like, when people are like MLM coaches, I'm like, what have you ever done? Nothing. Like, how much have you made? Nothing. Like, why are you coaching? Like, people who are life coaches, like, how do you coach someone on life? Like, you go and read a book? Like, that's the silliest thing ever. I would never want to be a life coach. I mean, I'm not bagging it, but, like, how do you teach someone do you have a great life? Do you have the perfect marriage? Like, what does your life look like? If you don't take financial advice from someone who's broke, by the way. Don't take MLM advice from someone who's never done it, right? Don't use these widgets and wadgets and all these affiliate programs. Oh, we're going to build your business automated. Really? Show me your check. What company are you using that? Anyway, I don't know why I got off that tangent. But that felt great. Anyway, number 10, and this is a really, really, really important one. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have got to have thick skin. You have got to develop resilience, and you've got to learn how to bounce back. You will continually fail, hopefully. If you're not, you're absolutely not learning. If you're not failing, you're not learning. You got to bounce. Don't break, bounce. So when something happens to you and you get slammed, don't break, bounce back. Say, I got this. This happened to me, I'm back, right? John Maxwell, again, I spent a lot of time with him, so you're going to always hear me reference him in many trainings, because I got a whole year and more with John Maxwell, who is the world's leading expert on the topic of leadership. He says, when something happens to you bad, maybe, someone quits on your team, or someone says something negative about your product or your company, you have one day. When something crappy happens to you, you have one day. You have 24 hours. And you can wallow, you can cry about it, you can boo-hoo about it, then you better get your butt back in the game. You have one day. You can't, if you're still crying, if something happens to you on Monday and you're still crying about it on Thursday, you're never going to be successful. People don't sit there, or successful people don't sit there and whine about what happened. They get over it and they go on. You've got to have emotional intelligence. You've got to be resilient. Mentally prepare yourself for everything. Mentally prepare yourself for people quitting on you. Mentally prepare yourself for people rejecting you, ridiculing you. Mentally prepare yourself for people not showing up for you, flaking on you. Wah, wah, wah. It's going to happen. This is a people business. The good news is this is a people business. The bad news is this is a people business. You're going to have to learn to work with people. You're going to have to love people. If you don't love people, you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur, because you cannot lead someone that you don't love. If you don't love people, don't be in the people business, right? You might want to go be like an engineer where you can just sit in a cubicle all day and draw stuff, because if you're in the people business, you got to love people. And life is a continual series of problems. The road to success is so not a straight line. It's more like this. And you're going to have setbacks, and you're going to have times that you want to quit. You're going to have times people quit on you. But you know what? Life is a series of problems, always interrupted by crisis. Expect everything, but be ready. And just every time something happens to you, every time something happens to me, all I say, of course I want to be bummed and pissed off, and like I want to be like, and wallow in it. But you know what I say? What am I supposed to learn here? What lesson am I being given right now? Because I don't believe that life happens to you. I don't have a victim mentality. I stopped having a victim mentality when I was 18 and I realized I'm in charge. I believe that life happens for you. And if you go through every day saying life is happening for me, not to me, then you can learn a lesson in everything that happens. Why is this happening to me? Why am I being tested right now? Why am I feeling like I'm being stretched right now? And if you have that mentality, you are going to be very resilient, because you'll never think that this is meant to take you down. It's meant to build you up, okay? Stuff's going to happen. Life's going to happen. Crap's going to happen. Crappy things are going to happen. It's how you respond to the crisis. It's how you respond, meaning, do you sit there and think about the crisis, or do you focus on what can I do to get out of this crisis, right? Are you thinking about the problem, or are you immediately switching to solutions? When something crap happens to me, when something bad happens in my business, I think, what can I do? What can I do to get out of this crisis? What can I do to lead my team out of this crisis? What can I do, to get around this? What can I do to get over this? What can I do to get through this, right? You cannot, poor-minded people sit there and worry about the problem. Wealth-minded people focus on the solutions. How can I change this? How can I make this better? If this didn't work, what will, right? You got to be a solutions-oriented person. So I want you to think about, being in your whatever line of work you are, whether it's MLM, services, product, what can you do? What can you do to get to $10,000 a month, right? Write it down. It's pretty easy. Normally, you just have to go to the comp plan And if your company has an income disclosure statement, that it should say, this is what people who make $10,000 a month. And then you just know that I have to do that. If you're in a product or service company and you get a percentage off your team sales, that's very easy. If you get 5%, then you know you're going to have to do, and normally there's way more ways to get paid, but it's very easy to calculate. What do you need to do to get to where you want to go? And then no matter what it takes, you just get there, right? That no matter what it takes, that you just keep going until you get there, right? You just don't let it happen, and life happen to you. Don't let life happen to you. Take the reins on your life, goodness sakes. Become an unshakable optimist. Learn more things, try new things, persist. Persist is a decision. Being the captain of your own boat, your ship, when you just have resilience and bounce back, you just have the mindset that you're going to persist until, right? People always say, gosh, it's crazy how resilient you are. You never let anything bother you, because it doesn't suit me to let anything bother me. I hate drama, so I run from it. I don't like negative people, so I don't surround myself with them. I'm optimistic because why not be? Why am I going to sit there and worry about all the things that are negative? And by the way, the majority of things that you worry about never ever happen, right? I've been on like a plane probably, I don't know, I've flown now I think 400,000 miles, and guess what? My plane's never crashed, so I don't worry about getting in a plane crash. You actually have statistically, you have more of a chance of dying on a mule than you have a plane. So how many people worry? Millions of people every day, millions of people worry that their plane is going to crash. And like 1 out of every 40 million flights crashes. So 39,999,999 didn't crash. Though look at all the wasted worry in the world. Become an optimist. You're more attractive as an optimist. But here's the thing is, people who are successful are optimistic. You don't see a bunch of negative leaders out there, guys. You don't see a bunch of crappy, miserable, negative, gossiping, worrying about everything leaders. I just don't see that. Look at the leaders of your company. Are they positive? Are they resilient? What happens when something, bad press happens? How do they react? Model people. Watch other people. How do they act? What happens when crisis happens to them? Are they resilient, right? But here's the thing is, just no matter what happens, never lose sight of your goal. I think so many times, gosh, I have more. I guess I could do another 5. I could do another 5 tomorrow. But what happens is, here's the thing. This is your goal. Let me hold up something that's not my product. This is not a product of mine. Got this at a hotel. So whatever you want, this is your goal. If you're focusing on your goal and what's possible and what can I do, what can I control, who can I talk to, what can I learn, if you're looking here, you don't have time. I think some people are so scared to do what it takes to get the goal that they enjoy the drama and the setbacks, and they focus on all the things that aren't working. But guys, you can have, you can look at your failures to just see how far you've come and what doesn't work, but don't sit there and worry about it. Like I did on a couple episodes ago. It's like if you're trying to get somewhere and you have a burning desire to get there, and your car breaks down, you're gonna walk. And if a tree falls down, you're gonna go around it. And if the road breaks out, you're gonna try to get over it. Like if you wanna go somewhere, you're gonna continue to go there. But it's crazy. In life, we do that, right? In life, we do that for our kids, for our relationships. Why? Because those things are important to us. Well, guys, success was important to me. I just kept figuring out what I can do to be successful, instead of focusing on all the things that don't. Do I get rejected? Gosh darn right I get rejected. Do I fail? Yes. Do people quit on me? Yes. Right? But did I let it stop me? No. Become resilient. I would say that, after all these 10 things, I think one of the best things you can do as an entrepreneur is learn to take the hit and get back up. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down, how many times you say something dumb, how many times you get rejected, ridiculed, fail, do the wrong thing. It's how many times you continue to do that. It's, I think it's Jim Rohn who says that success is basically the ability to go from failure to failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. So quickly, if you guys have any questions for me, I'll stick around for another few minutes to answer questions. Do you guys like these 5 so far today? Let's do a recap. We got dedicate yourself to a life of learning and growth, and that is the key to wealth. Develop a workaholic mentality. Be prepared to climb from peak to peak, and develop resilience and bounce back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I only do 4? Become an unshakable optimist. I don't know. I lost count, but I think there was plenty in there. Any questions, guys? Any questions about anything? I mean, about any tips? And also, you guys, one thing I would love for you guys to do too every day is to write ideas that you have for future topics. I'm going to be doing a lot of these. In fact, my goal, I wrote my goals down the other day for this because I'm very excited about it, and I love all the feedback, and that people have been writing me messages and just saying how valuable it is to them. So thank you for all of your incredible feedback, by the way. But I have written down my goals, and my goal is to have 50 episodes by December 1st. I'm not even sure if there's 50 days, but maybe the next 90 days I'm gonna do 50 in a row. Like, I'm not gonna miss a day. Now tomorrow I'll tell you, for those of you who are live, that I have a hair appointment. Got some roots here at 10, so I'll probably do 1 p.m. PST tomorrow. My question is, do you have a schedule that you try to fix her up routine, I guess? Do I have a schedule? Yeah, I guess so. In the morning I do social media. I'm on text. I'm on Facebook message. I have an international team. So it's evening right now in my UK and Netherlands at market. So I go through all of my different messages, WhatsApp, my Facebook Messenger, my text messages, and my email. So in the morning I spend time doing that. And then I get into activity mode, phone calls, prospecting, follow-up, social media, and usually try to fill my schedule with income generating activities, which are 3-way calls, which are people presenting. We do launch calls, we do all kinds of stuff. So I do whatever I can. I have kids, so I work around their schedule, but yes, I am very routine, and you have to find the routine for you. Again, the best thing to do with a calendar is go and block off what times you do have available and start filling them, right? So don't expect to, life will get in the way. So you have to schedule stuff. So you have to block off times, and people say, can you do a call? Yes, I am available in this window, this window, and this window, so that I try to fill those slots because those are the most convenient for me and my family. Why do top income earners leave companies and start all over? Paul, that is a great question. Depends on, how the company's doing. Now, I think if you get to the high rank of the company, let's say you're making $50,000 a month and your team is growing and thriving, the only reason would probably people would leave would be personal reasons. Maybe they don't like who they're working with. I don't know. All I know is why I've made some transitions. One of the reasons why I made a transition from my last company is because I went from $7.5 million in sales down to $500,000 a month in sales. And it was just time to go, right? I just didn't believe in the future products, and I didn't like the company's direction, and it was no longer congruent with who I am and what I want to do. So I think probably more than anything, it's a personal choice, but I would guess that top leaders leave because it's no longer what they want to do. And you have to be happy doing what you do, or you're not going to do it very well. So do I read every day? Yes, Kelly, I read, I listen. I mean, there's times that sometimes no, I will be like, oh, I didn't read today, but then I'll double up or triple up the next day. Trust me when I say that I have read more than 10 pages a day for the last, 8 years. You can do live while doing your hair. Shut up, smart ass. Any other questions? I'll stick around for a couple days, but I don't know, Paul, if that message, or if that, everybody's different. I don't know. Maybe they got into a company and didn't like what they were doing anymore. Who knows? Personal reasons. You'd have to ask the leaders in question. All right. Anyway, I would definitely recommend this book for those of you who can't see it. It's backwards, but I'm going to be teaching on this probably sooner than later. The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Gosh, this is one of the best books I've ever read. What topics can we look forward to that you are wanting to share with us? Oh gosh, influence, laws of growth, the gaps. I have a whole bunch. I have actually a list here. So I would love feedback and suggestions. Handling objections. Woo, that's coming up. 12 traits of an entrepreneur is coming up. Mindset of launching is coming up. We already did those. But anyway, I'm continually adding to it. So if you guys have suggestions for future episodes, I am absolutely happy to give them to you, because I would love to, help in areas that you guys are struggling with right now in your business. So thank you guys for joining us. I will look again. No other questions? Going once? Going twice? What am I currently reading? I am currently reading The Master Key to Riches by Napoleon Hill, which, by the way, it's up on my nightstand, is the best book that I have ever read, and I will probably teach a lot out of that. Oh my gosh, one of his lessons, going the extra mile, is rocks my world. So many lessons in that book. I recommend that everyone, and you want to know why I'm reading that. One of the things that I've learned very on in my career is that you always want to read and learn what other successful people have. So I learned a thing that they say when good leaders ask great questions. And by the way, that is another book by John C. Maxwell, is that when you're around a top leader, don't just be like, if you have like a lunch or a sit down or coffee with your leaders, don't just sit there and talk about sports and weather. Like, it's great to get to know each other, but like, if you have a minute with somebody, ask them questions. How did they get there? So the one question, if I have a very short amount of time, that I ask every top leader is, what is the one book that has had the most influence and impact on your career? So I actually got the great pleasure of meeting Holton Buggs, who right now is I think he's the #1 earner in the industry of this generation. Of course, there are people from Amway and Mary Kay and all these older companies that have residual income, but he has made over $100 million in the last 9 years. And I got to meet him when we were at a John Maxwell event a couple weeks ago in Atlanta, and I was just like, I've watched your career, it's inspiring. Can you give me one book? And he told me The Master Key to Riches. And this is by taking immediate action. This is what successful people do. I didn't go, oh, okay, that sounds good. I'm in Atlanta. I'll just, put it on my list. I sat in my seat. I got my phone out. I went on my Amazon app and I ordered it immediately. And it was at my house when I got home. And I read 50 pages of it the first day I got it. That's called taking immediate action. He was so excited to show me. He came up to me at the next break and he showed me a picture of his book that he goes, this is my copy. It's over 20 years old and it was like tattered and worn. It looked like it had gone through a hurricane. And he says, I have read and reread and gone back to this book more. Only one book I've gone back to more was the Bible, basically. He's like, this is my MLM Bible. And because he shared that with me, and this man has made over $100 million, I thought, well, I might want to read that book. So always, always, always ask people what they're reading. That is a great question. And Mark, I do have a reading list. Go to my blog. It's tarawilsonblog.com. And there's a tab that says recommended reading. You don't have to opt in or anything. You can just go and read that. And I do need to update it. There's probably about 40 books that are not on there. What are the, okay, so can't stop reading, I know. Find a mentor. Okay, Melissa has, if we find a mentor, what should we expect our mentor to do with us? I'll tell you right now, most of my mentors I've never met. And the mentors I have are people I have very little contact to and they don't give me, I don't get feedback from them directly. Like John Maxwell, I spent $12,000, which was half the cost of what he normally charges for his table. It's just $25,000 a year because a lot of them did it. But John Maxwell is my mentor because I listen to what he says and I read his book and I absorb his lessons, but I absorb them and I take them, I do them. You know, Jim Rohn is a mentor of mine. Zig Ziglar is a mentor of mine. Earl Nightingale. Eric Worre is a mentor of mine because I just read and learn from what he's done. Brian Tracy's a mentor of mine. A mentor is somebody that models behavior. So if you want the best out of your mentor, you do what they do, not what they say. So follow somebody who is where you want to be and they're going there right now. So there may be a great mentor in your company that may be the #1 earner and they know how to get there, but they probably, I don't know, maybe they don't have the time or desire to mentor you. So mentoring, what you can expect from them is just to continually lead by example. And if they're not, John Maxwell calls those people historians. Leaders lead, leaders are doing now. If you've already done it, you're a historian. Gosh, so many great questions today. Woo! What is your My Number book? Is it still Brian Tracy? No, The Master Key to Riches. Brian Tracy's Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life is extraordinary book, though. I love that. You're welcome, Melissa. What else? Could I post a reading list? The reading list there. Okay. Maxwell books. By the way, John Maxwell has written over, I think, 97 books, and he's still writing. He's 69 years old, and he writes every single day. And he says his best books and his best days are ahead of him, which is extraordinary for someone who's 69. But yeah, so go to my blog. Again, you don't have to opt in. And I will always continue to talk about books as I read them. I mean, there's like so many I can't even tell you. But anyway, well, thank you guys. I know this is long and it's going to make a really long YouTube video. So thank you guys. And hold on, one more question. You referenced 2 specifically though. The 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John Maxwell. And then good leaders ask great questions. Those are really good ones. So awesome. You're very welcome. If you guys need anything, you're welcome to message me directly. I thank you guys for sticking in with me for 45 minutes today. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think it's youtube.com/create wealth with Tara. And you will get notified so you can watch these at your convenience because it's lunchtime. Somewhere is different every time zone. So just use these to get little nuggets of wisdom that I am imparting on you if you don't have time to read, if you like to watch or learn. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow.